price of XRP soars. What more is there for us to anticipate? What more could drive up this price? Additionally, a recent report from JP Morgan describes XRP and Ripple as the most alluring digital assets for banks. Guys, this is going to be a really packed video. How are you today? Our estimate is 351 cents. Man, having XRP at the moment feels fantastic. That document is here. The document, which is authentic and from JP Morgan, claims that XRP and Ripple are the most alluring digital assets for banks. I scanned this paper to make sure it was authentic, and it is. It continues by stating that regulatory concerns, particularly those pertaining to anti-money laundering, have resulted in restrictions on tokens such as Bitcoin, and be familiar with your client. Recall that Ripple has integrated all of this compliance into their products, as they are aware of their partnerships with banks and other financial institutions. This indicates that XRP is prepared to enter Valhalla. Kyle Chase, here it is. This has a significant impact on X and other locations. He has been discussing Bitcoin and Ethereum a lot. He is now discussing XRP. Take a look at this. One of the biggest institutional upgrades in XRP's history is about to happen. Even without a US ETF, widespread use by treasury companies, or a native DeFi yield, XRP has outperformed Bitcoin by triple digits over the past year. But that's the only thing that has changed. Ripple will be able to issue its institutional stablecoin, the RLUSD, and settle transactions on the Federal Reserve Payment Network if it is successful in obtaining a national banking charter and a Fed master account. A strategic shift that is going unnoticed is Ripple's transition from a cross-border payments company to a full-fledged stablecoin issuer. One of the most robust capital rotations into the XRP ecosystem might occur if these measures are adopted and Ripple's banking practices are accepted. Guys, I'll be completely honest now. I invest early on. Among the most powerful we've ever seen. These are big words from Kyle Chase, a share in Ripple. Naturally, I want to see Ripple achieve great success. And I believe that what they're doing now will be really beneficial for the equity side of the firm, which is the Ripple side. I've already produced a video discussing the XRP token, its actual demand, and how I believe the RLUSD may somewhat eat into its usefulness, but I don't think that matters. Correct. I believe that the XRP army is very strong because of all the news, marketing, and the cult-like nature of the XRP community. As I have stated, Ripple has not yet released an ETF. Let's simply talk about what he said there. He is discussing how RLUSD is reducing demand for XRP. However, he kind of forgets to note that RLUSD is present on both the Ethereum and XRP ledgers. All of those transactions are utilizing XRP as the gas token, if they are being carried out on the XRP ledger. XRP cannot be used by financial institutions for all purposes. Sometimes using a stablecoin is preferable, which is why Ripple has decided to create its own stablecoin, which is currently the most regulated stablecoin globally. Ripple is attempting to outperform Tether, and whether you work for the New York Department of Financial Services or not, that is essentially the summit of the mountain. Because Tether cannot provide an audit proving they have one-to-one backing, they will not be permitted in the US or the EU. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to continue this, as it is going to be the largest price and institutional use case drive I have ever witnessed. Hasn't seen any other treasury purchases, but that will change when the market attitude and altcoin season are favorable. And it's one of the most well-liked coins in America, as far as I'm aware. You can be sure that Ripple, or XRP for that matter, is going to take off. So, people, if you want me to do anything, please let me know in the comments section below. Go, dude. I'm really excited. This is like, I wish I could bottle this energy and sell it to people, or I wish I could look at this and make $1 trillion. I therefore wanted to examine some of the data regarding the overall volume. Here we go. To give you some additional information, I wanted to try to determine how much XRP is still available on exchanges. For example, the data shows that out of the 100 billion XRP that are available on exchanges, the current circulating supply is approximately 59 billion, meaning that there are currently 3.4 billion in reserves. About a week or two ago, we produced a video that examined the real amount of XRP that remained on exchanges. Tens of billions of XRP are visible in the pools where customers who have purchased it leave it on exchanges, but how much XRP is truly accessible for purchase? Here, that's what I wanted to look at. Accordingly, it claims that recent data indicates notable withdrawals from exchanges and that whales and institutions are regularly removing XRP from trading platforms in reaction to regulatory clarity or conjecture. This lowers the amount of freely traded goods. The significance of the new announcement of crypto regulations is also covered. Here in America, the 3 cryptocurrency measures were just passed. This includes regulation of cryptocurrency, regulation of stablecoins, and, of course, regulation against CBDC. It does discuss this week's regulatory amendments, which have made the climate friendlier and defined XRP's legal status. Recall that all of Ripple's partners, including Bank of America, were anticipating this clarification. They have it now. Let's frickin'. The main conclusions here are that there hasn't been much of a shift in the total supply or the circulating supply. At over 100 billion, they are still at 59 billion. Because of institutional and whale accumulation, the quantity of XRP that is now available on exchanges has probably decreased since last week. Guys, please realize that there isn't as much XRP as many believe, and the price will continue to rise as long as there remains this desire. Keep the Ripple protocol in mind. Retail prices are not controlled by Ripple. The price of XRP will rise in response to the widespread use of the Ripple system. That's exactly what this is saying. Additionally, Cowboy Crypto did note that for the first time ever, XRP's market capitalization has surpassed $200 billion without its value being completely diluted. It is amazing to witness it. Will XRP overthrow Ethereum as well? This is a thread about it. In 2025, XRP will overtake Ethereum as the most popular altcoin. Due to its own inefficiencies, Ethereum's 10-year hold on the altcoin market is eroding. Users and developers are leaving due to scalability issues, exorbitant gas prices, and delayed updates, but these developers are also moving to the XRP ledger with its EVM sidechain. Recall that we recently saw a significant influx of new infrastructure, utilities, and construction. Ethereum is observing the XRP ledger and saying, "Dude, we wish we had what those guys have right now. We possess the technology, the people, and the momentum." Ethereum fees peaked in 2022 at around $200 per transaction, is obviously not the prices of today. Proof of stake was the next step after proof of work. Despite promising advancements, the network is still beset by congestion and expenses, and it is increasingly evident that Ethereum cannot scale quickly enough to satisfy its growing demand. In the meantime, rivals that are quicker, less expensive, and more effective are emerging, but none of them are gaining traction as quickly as the XRP ledger. XRPL is designed for financial-grade dependability and global scalability. Here's why it's in a position to surpass Ethereum and take its crown away. Superior scalability in terms of speed and transactions. In terms of speed, scalability, and efficiency, the XRPL AMM outperforms conventional theory-based AMMs, particularly those that use a constant product market maker model. You're discussing reducing slippage and impairment loss in DeFi, lowering fees, being carbon neutral, and institutionally moving away from Ethereum. According to our findings, the XRPO AMM increases overall operating efficiency, speeds up price synchronization, and lowers slippage and impairment loss. Additionally, it discusses how Ethereum's DeFi layer is antiquated and ineffective. I wanted to look here as well. Pay close attention to what I have to say, says Chad Steengraber. You'll be tempted. You will trust even though you don't believe you will, breaks all-time highs, followed by XRPs and 5Xs in fast succession. Don't get caught. Isn't that what he's saying? He believes that there will be a location where people may make money. The price of XRP will then continue to rise.